I used to think adulthood was basically just one long software update that never finished installing. You go to school so you can get a job. You get a job so you can get benefits. You keep the job so you can pay for the house you barely see because you're always at the job. Then one day you're standing in the kitchen at 6:12 in the morning, eating toast in semi-darkness like a raccoon with a mortgage, wondering how exactly this became the accepted definition of a successful life. And the weird part is, nobody around you questions it. Everybody's just shuffling around the office, carrying travel mugs and low-grade resentment like it's some patriotic duty. I'm 60 years old now. I've worked in the IT industry my entire life pretty much, which means I spent roughly 4 decades pretending that printer issues or system issues are emergencies. I've attended meetings about meetings, which is just crazy. I've watched grown adults use phrases like, let's circle back, or bandwidth and synergy and KPIs with completely straight faces, while a projector fan screamed in the background like it wanted to die. And for years now I thought I was becoming lazy or cynical because I stopped giving that 110%. Now, it turns out there's a name for it. Quiet quitting. Which is hilarious because there's no quitting involved whatsoever. You still show up, you still do your work, you just stop sacrificing your nervous system for a company that would replace you before your obituary even hit Facebook. That's the part they don't say out loud. Quiet quitting isn't laziness. It's disillusionment with the system that kept promising fulfillment in exchange for obedience, then quietly replaced fulfillment with quarterly performance reviews and pizza parties. And let me tell you something. From the perspective of a guy who has sat in fluorescent lighting since Reagan administration, once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. The modern office model is one of the strangest social experiments humans have ever normalized. We wake up exhausted, commute through traffic, sit indoors all day under artificial lighting and rectangles, which we call monitors. We go home too mentally drained to pursue anything meaningful. So we consume entertainment until bedtime and then do it all again tomorrow. Rinse, lather, and repeat. 5 days a week, 40 plus years, and the entire thing is presented as stability. That's the sales pitch. Stability. Meanwhile, everybody's anxious, over-medicated, underslept, and secretly Googling how to make money online during lunch breaks. Sound familiar? And I know because I was one of them. Actually, I still am. The difference now is I finally understand why. See, for most of my life I thought there were only 2 options. Option 1, work for someone else forever. That seems to be the most popular option for most people. Then there's option 2, open a business, work 90 hours a week until you become the human embodiment of an acid reflux. Neither appealed to me. I never wanted a restaurant, never wanted a storefront, never wanted employees calling me because the cash register stopped working. I just wanted autonomy. I wanted my time back. And for years I didn't realize there was this massive shift happening under everybody's nose. The internet quietly changed the rules. Not overnight, not magically, but fundamentally. There are now people making livings from newsletters, YouTube channels, digital products, niche communities, print-on-demand stores, consulting, affiliate websites, online education, remote freelancing, tiny software tools, and bizarre little one-person businesses that would have sounded insane in 1997. Back then, if somebody said, I make a living reviewing camping lanterns on YouTube, you would have called security and probably had them escorted out of the building. Now that guy owns a cabin in Montana and has no alarm clock. And that realization hit me like a freaking brick. Not because I suddenly believed becoming rich online was easy. Most of the internet entrepreneur culture is unbearable. Everybody's standing beside rented Lamborghinis, yelling about mindset while trying to sell a course called Escape Velocity Wealth Systems. Relax, Chad. you dropship phone chargers. Anyways, beneath all the noise, something real is happening. For the first time in modern history, ordinary people can build income streams without asking permission from the gatekeepers. And that matters, especially if you're older like me. Because once you hit your late 50s or 60s, the illusion really starts cracking. You start realizing your company culture isn't your family. Your coworkers aren't your tribe. And those best years you were told to sacrifice for retirement, well, those years were your life. Nobody gives them back. That's the thing younger people actually understand better than my generation did. We mocked them for not worshiping corporate loyalty, but honestly, they saw through the scam faster than anybody else. And good for them. My generation treated burnout like a personality trait. People bragged about never taking vacation days like it was some sort of badge of honor. Well, congratulations, Gary. You missed your daughter's childhood for a pension and a commemorative watch if you're lucky. What a deal, though. And here's where quiet quitting enters the conversation in a more serious way. Because I don't think quiet quitting is really about work effort. I think it's about emotional detachment from a broken social contract. Employees were told, work hard and you'll be rewarded. Be loyal, you'll be secure. Sacrifice now and freedom comes later. Then the company started laying off people over Zoom while posting record profits. What the hell? Something snapped after that. People realized the system was transactional all along. So now workers are responding transactionally. You pay me for my role, I perform my role, end of arrangement. Honestly, that's not rebellion. That's clarity. And to be fair, not every company is evil. I've worked with good people, smart people, kind manager, decent organizations, but the structure itself still has a problem. It consumes human life in exchange for survival. And eventually some of us wake up and realize survival isn't enough anymore. We want ownership. Ownership of our time, ownership of our energy, ownership of our attention. Because attention is your actual life. Where your attention goes, your years go. That realization changes everything. Now, I'm not sitting here pretending everyone can just quit tomorrow and become a digital nomad living in Portugal, eating artisanal olives beside the sea. Some people online talk like escaping 9 to 5 is just a matter of wanting it badly enough. That's nonsense. People have responsibilities, mortgages, kids, aging parents, medical bills. Reality exists. But I do think there's a middle path that almost nobody talked about when I was younger. Instead of blowing up your life dramatically, you slowly build leverage. Quietly. Strategically. You stop treating your job as your identity and start treating it as an infrastructure, a transaction, a contract, a funding mechanism. That mindset shift alone is huge. Your job becomes the engine financing your escape plan instead of the prison defining your existence. That's different. Then maybe you spend evenings building something small. Not because you're grinding. I hate that word, grinding. Grinding sounds like something industrial machinery does before catching fire. No, you build something you want. Optionality. Maybe it's a YouTube channel about vintage guitars. Maybe it's selling designs online. Maybe it's consulting for a small business. Maybe it's writing about weird observations nobody else notices. You'd be shocked how valuable pattern recognition is now. The internet rewards specificity. The old economy rewarded conformity. That's why so many older workers feel spiritually exhausted. We were trained for an industrial model instead of a digital world. But once you understand that, it gets very exciting. Because suddenly your experience matters again. You realize all those years weren't useless. You know things younger people don't. You understand systems, human behavior, office politics, risk, sales psychology, technical skills, communication. That knowledge compounds. And unlike corporate ladder climbing, building something for yourself has asymmetrical upside. One good idea can change your entire trajectory. One audience, one product, one opportunity, one connection. That possibility alone makes life feel bigger again, which is probably the strangest thing about all this. I spent years assuming adulthood narrowed your future, but now I think the opposite might be true. A lot of people don't really wake up until middle age. Me, a little bit later than most, actually. That's when you finally stop performing for expectations you never consciously chose. You stop trying to look successful and start asking whether you're actually successful by your own definition and standards. That's a dangerous question, but it's also very liberating. Because maybe success isn't a corner office. Maybe success is waking up without dread. Maybe success is owning a Tuesday afternoon that you can do anything with, your call. Maybe success is having enough control over your time that your nervous system finally unclenches for the first time since 1989. And look, I'm not fully out yet myself. I still work. I still log onto systems, still answer emails, still sit through meetings where someone says we're pivoting toward a more dynamic workflow solution. Nobody even knows what the hell that means anymore. But mentally, something changed. I no longer believe this is the only model available anymore. That belief alone gives me some energy. Because hopelessness comes from feeling trapped. And once you see alternatives, even imperfect ones, the walls start looking just a little bit thinner. Maybe quiet quitting isn't the end of ambition. Maybe it's the end of a blind ambition. Maybe it's the moment people stop donating unpaid emotional labor to systems that don't love them back. And maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning of something healthier. A quieter kind of success. Less status. More autonomy. Less performance. More actual living. Honestly, at 60 years old, that sounds pretty damn good to me. And if you're somewhere out there eating toast in the dark before another long commute, wondering whether this is really all there is, I really don't think it is anymore. I really don't. As always, this has been Over 40 with Duff. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, follow, share, do all the things, and even better yet, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. So until next time, please remember to ask yourself, if not now, when?